Do something a little different. We're going to talk about sort of thinking through if you run a business and you're thinking about what are you going to do for the next 12 to 18 months, what sort of changes do you need to do in your daily operations, and how do you think through what those changes need to be? So we're kind of organizing here. Some of my friends and I, we're talking through what are those tools that we have at our disposal, and how do we analyze our current process in a way that enables us to improve what we're seeing, right? To make ourselves ready for the next wave of business, right? So the first thing is I want to do a little quick case study on Sonic, and the question is, why would I pick Sonic? Well, first of all, if you follow me on Facebook, you know that I think that Sonic is one of the ideal COVID-19 business models, right? If you think about social distancing, you start up in your car already. They're ideally set for curbside, but even with them being so ideally positioned, they do have some ways that they can enhance what they're doing. So, but before I get there, I want to say these are just my opinions. They're not my employer's opinions. They're not my coworkers' opinions, and I'm not currently engaged doing any work for them. This is just strictly something I'm doing in my own free time for fun, which is my own definition of fun, right? Okay. So what are they doing right? Like I mentioned, if you pull up to a Sonic drive-in, at least the ones in Texas, I understand in Ohio, they're different. But you can order pretty much everything from the app at your house. You can drive up, you can check in, you can pay. You don't have to get out of your car. You keep your windows rolled up, you keep your own music, your own air conditioning. You're basically in a pretty germ-free, sealed environment. And for the most part, that's an option right now. You can do other ways of doing it, but as far as being ready to go full sort of germ virus isolation mode for food delivery, this is about as close to perfect and ready as you're going to get from day one, right? So sort of the design brief here. What am I thinking about in terms of analyzing what they're doing, right? So first thing is, I'm assuming that we're going to be in lockdown for at least another 90 days, and today is like April 3rd, so we're looking all of April, all of May, all of June. So maybe like a July 1, we're not going to be in lockdown. We're going to have this thing under control. But I also think that we're not going to have a vaccine, if I believe everyone that I hear on the internet that is a doctor that is part of this process. I don't think we're going to see a vaccine for 12 to 18 months. So I think we're still going to have to be pretty germ aware, virus aware for at least 12 to 18 more months. And then the other thing is, if you want to stay in business past 12 to 18 months, you're not just going to go into hibernation. You should probably start adjusting your business operations immediately. And I'm starting this first video with somebody that's already pretty ideally positioned, and look at just even for them, what are the tweaks that they can make, right? So kind of the goals here, obviously, reduce virus exposure for the clients, the diners, and then reduce virus exposure for the employees. Pretty straightforward. We're going to minimize transmission, but still be able to operate our business and make revenue and satisfy our customers and pay our employees. So the process we're going through here, just identify what are the mesh points, where are the points where someone could be exposed to a virus, sort of identify what those alternative designs are, and then sort of we're going to go through at the end and summarize our changes. And I want to try and keep the video pretty short too. So here, mesh point number 1, real straightforward. If you're not using the mobile app, you come up here, you see the menu, you push the big red button to let them know you're there. Maybe you scroll back and forth on the flavor funnels menu board there. Once they take your order, you'll say, all right, let's pay here. You slide in your card, you pull your card out, you say that's okay, whatever. Maybe type in your zip code or something, right? So multiple points where your fingers are going to be interacting with that board, with that button, with that screen, with that credit card reader. So obviously, first thing we want to do is we want to eliminate those touch points. Is there a way to, instead of having the arrows on the side of the screen, just make that a fixed display? There's nothing rotating. When you pull up, maybe it automatically detects that you're there. You don't have to push the button. 30 seconds later, someone says, hey, can I help you? You say no. They set a timer. 30 seconds later, they come back and say, hey, are you ready to order now? But again, where it is proactive from their side, not you pushing the button active. Same thing when you're paying. If we can force that to the app, let's do that. If not, that's still going to be a touch point, but we can try and minimize it and encourage that not to be done. Again, sort of here, the paying, if you're doing the credit card, again, how can we eliminate that touch step? Can we move that into the mobile app? Can we get rid of the paper cash exchange? Third sort of mesh point, okay, you've placed your order, they've made your food, they're bringing it out, they're handing it to you here. This is just one of the pictures I pulled off the internet. Obviously get that person a face mask, get that person a glove. I think if you've got someone who's paying by cash car side, let's have a different dedicated employee that handles the cash versus handles the food, right? So if you've got 4 or 5 stalls and they're handling cash, have that same employee go collect cash, collect cash, collect cash, different set of gloves, not handling the food, and the person that delivers the food is not handling cash. Same thing with the tip jar. Currently, you can't tip on the credit card. You can only tip with paper. I know I like to do that. I know my wife likes to do that. I feel bad if I don't have actual paper cash to give them. But so maybe on that tray that they're carrying around, there's a dedicated tip jar. So if you want to tip them, they put the tray out, you put it in the cup instead of handing it to them in their hands, right? So keep the cash and the food separate. Same thing if you can add this to the mobile app, please add it to the mobile app. If you can add it to the thing, again, eliminating paper, eliminating that virus transfer, keeping the food and money supply separate. That'd be ideal. All right, so kind of summary, we looked at Sonic. They're doing a lot of stuff right. I do think ordering, get rid of the requirement to touch the red button, get rid of the requirement to touch the screen and interact with the arrows, encourage all those apps to move to the mobile function, which is already there for, I think, all of that. You can check in, you can place orders, you can pay. Same thing for paying. Is there a way to do a no-touch pay by card? Can you move those functions to the Sonic app? I think yes. For delivery, add gloves to the employees, add masks to the employees, add a separate dedicated employee to collect cash if there's cash payments that are being handled, and don't let them handle food, or at least don't let them handle food with the same gloves. Add complimentary hand sanitizing wipes to all the food orders, especially if they've had to swipe the card, if they've had to touch the screen, if we haven't gotten rid of that red button. Give them some wipes so they can wipe down their hands before they start interacting with their food. And then for tipping, again, please add tipping to the Sonic app. This is one of the few things that you can't eliminate and remove the cash from currently in their system, right? So add it to where you can do tipping from the mobile app, and add that touch-free tip jar on the car hops tray if you insist on maintaining paper there. So anyway, so that's kind of my summary of what I think the COVID impact would be for a Sonic business model.